Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another WWE Champions video. Today, I got an interesting one for you guys. I was sitting there and I'm thinking, there's a lot of people on my roster that I really want to showcase. And the Wyatt Sicks are some of my favorite characters in the entire game because of all their moments and trainers and things that you can eventually get to really build each one up. There's so many different ways that they can be run because of all the new stuff they can get. And now, especially with King, which we will showcase with all of them, they can get just even better. So that's what I mean. I think there's so many trainers and coaches, and obviously their moments and stuff that they feel really fun. And four of them are in the Titan shop, so I feel like they're pretty important to at least showcase, I guess, here. And the first video obviously is going to be in Joe. We're going to go in order. So Joe, Rowan, Dexter, Abby, and then Bo. Joe is by far one of the easier ones to build up. However, he still requires a bit rarer stuff. So let's get into it, starting with Joe Gacy. So Joe's an interesting one. Joe is one of the few people in the game that can straight one click. I feel like in particular. We're going to start with his one click build first. So the only move here that we care about is the diving clothesline. Finisher, deal 991,000, make 10 random gems in the multi-strength 11, then finisher, deal 991 damage, and choose a 2x7 area to swap into red and pin the opponent, which is really good for a free card, I feel like, to have base of 11 strength multis in the game. Now, in terms of the other two moves, you can run pretty much whatever you want. You can have the decrease counter, you can increase the yellow, you can have the choose move, you can have the submission, you can have the row break, you can have the one charge, or you can have leech gems on the board. It really does not matter. If it were me, maybe I would run either sub, the one charge, or the counter, at least in there. So you could maybe run black black, or you run triple yellow if you wanted to, or this way, or instead of this black, you run this black. There's so many ways you can run him, but we're mainly here for the one click to start with. Now, the one click, obviously, because it's a 10 charge, we need Breaker, and we need Kofi with Sandhogan in order to get that turn one. Now, obviously, the best one is Howdy. If you don't have Howdy, Punk, I think, is a great one. Zombie Punk. If you don't have that, I would probably then go with Striker Brett, maybe? Or, yeah, I would probably say Striker Brett for 35% multi, 35% green, and 35% yellow gem. And that's going to be and that will go hand in hand with the plates here that we're going to showcase. As Joe here is really easy belt-wise. Tier 5, and it's May plate, so whenever you break 7 or more yellow, generate 20 green, and we're going to run the Sheriff's Badge, break 15 red, generate 30 yellow. So a really, really strong just plate combo, especially with the fact that our finisher's choosing 2x7 in red. We just need to connect one more red gem, and then this will set off, and because we break yellow, this will set off. Now there is better plates now, actually, for Joe. Mainly the basic is the yellow rumble basic plate now is probably better considering it's his main gem. Or if you don't have it, I would say Insignia plate for when you make multi, increase your yellow by 100. I think that'll work on this. I'm not entirely sure because it is a combo of a finisher. But still, I know these two work, and they're not the hardest plates I'll get. Now, on top of this, for a build a character, when you get 4 of the 5 Wyatt Sicks, you will unlock the Wyatt Sicks moment. So we're going to get black 50, receive 50% less, roll break 200, and the main thing that Joe cares about here is multi plus 4 strength. Now, I am missing actually the other moment here as well, which let's go quickly and see what that does. If my game would load. There you go. So if you have both moments, which this one though, I know the Wyatt Sicks vs. American made, you have to actually unlock with a token, but they are in the moment. Each one is also in it. You will get roll break plus 10, protect 150, multi 50, gem 50, receive 50% less. So you would have multi 50 and gem 50 as well on top of that. So even better, Joe would hit even harder at that point. So let's go in here again, Scott. I am hyped too, but I know how much I hit for, so I can kind of show you guys how hard Joe's gonna hit. Again, considering he's free, he's one of the best free characters I think in the game. There's very few others I would say, like maybe Zombie Seamus and maybe a few others. But it's definitely, I think, up there with him, especially considering the fact he's gem. Zombie Seamus is great, but he's off a sub, which doesn't really scale as well if we go to eventually other stars. So my yellow gem base is 159, green gem is only 83. So what we do is it's a very simple thing. It's just we hit that. We'll put the multis out. So times 15s everywhere because of our extra moment. We're going to connect with one other gem here. But that'll set off 30 yellow. And then that'll set off 20 green. So 59 mil, even with hype 2. 2 hype on him. We'll run that one more time. That was not a great board. But you can kind of see the one click, just even with Howdy and everything, isn't really hitting. I mean, if you had the other moment, maybe. But he's not really hitting as hard as I would like him to. 60 mil is not a very good hit, especially considering that hype 2. That's more like a 50 mil hit at least there. Which isn't great. I will say that. Not the greatest. Definitely would like to see more than that. But that was a pretty bad board, so let's try this again. I mean, this is 16 times 15s on the board, so it was a lot. So we're going to hit this. We're going to take it here. There goes our 30 yellow. And that's 20 green, and there we drained him that time. But again, hype 2. So on average, I think the hardest you might hit for with this build is about 70 mil against someone with the same hype, which, even with the other moment, yeah, you're probably looking around that more consistently. Which, yeah, I would definitely say is not enough. It's not enough. He's not hitting that hard, or as well, at least as hard as I would like him to. How do we make that better? And then this is where I think Joe actually really shines here and actually becomes a really solid character, and that is his 2-click moveset. Now that King exists, we're gonna run this moveset, same thing, but we'll show you some differences here. Now that King exists, we are going to get even more multi-strength and even more yellow gem. Again, obviously Howdy and Punk and stuff is the way to go. If you don't have one, you know, Brett, I would say, is the best. If you don't have either, that is a lot tougher. I would run just, I guess, double zombie at that point. Or if you had, I mean, Leo would also work as well, if you had Leo. But now that Kane exists in the game, for all color 2, multi 2, this 7 charge move is available. And that gains our yellow MP by 5, so it just gives us the fin. So, and then again, because we're just going to hit these 2 moves, the third move is kind of dealer's choice. Again, you can run the 4 charge, reduce tag counter. You could run roll breaks if you wanted, or the choose move, or the 1 MP, the leech, or triple yellow for that submission, as that would also be turn 1 then. So if they have some MP and you're kind of worried, you could hit that as well. So kind of a dealer's choice, and it gives a little bit more variety on what you want to do. But this is where I actually think Joe kind of shines here. Now, granted, it is gain MP counter, and I believe because that area is a choose, Let me put the multis down first. I believe it is, even though it's a fin, a multi-counter, I believe will happen. So our yellows are now 178. We're going to hit that because we have a turn 1. This will increase by 5, which again easily gives it, instead of the times 15s, we're now at 16 random of strength 17. So just much better right there. Again, we would kind of like to hit as little multi as we can. Kind of looking at this one, it's still 4, but I think that's probably the best spot there. Solid Cascade. We'll make the yellow, and then we'll drop the green. And again, there is the play that's obviously better with the new yellow Little Rumble. And there we zeroed him out. I have looked against people with other hype. This one averages closer to that 88, 90-ish mil. And I don't have the other moment. So I do prefer the 2-click build a lot more. This 2-click build ain't too shabby at all. We'll run this one more time. And then we'll go to a tag match because, again, I also think Joe kind of specializes in a showdown with the links that he gets with the other Wyatts. But again, it's a pretty simple thing. Again, it's just hit this move, gain your MP, put these down, and that's it. Right? And that's pretty much it. And just connect one more red. And then let the board do the rest. And there we go. Zeroed him again. Again, it's about that 80, 85, 90 mil. I would say 85, 90 is pretty average on this one, which, yes, that is not the hardest hitting thing in the game, especially for showboats. There's a lot better now, like, again, Gunther, Dom, Penta, right? But his speed ain't too bad either, and I do like him for that reason. And he's a very easy hype builder on top of it. That's also the main reason I think you would want to use him, is because he is 10 hype in the Titan per. It helps him a ton to get up there in terms of stuff. Now, a huge reason I would also maybe run him is for Showdown. Man, it is having issues today. Alright, we're going to run Rowan here. So we get the Wyatt Sicks link because of this. Now, I would still maybe use the 2-click. You might be more comfortable with the 1-click then. But again, Wyatt Sicks, multi-generating for moves will increase their strength by 6. Which is pretty strong of a link. Considering that we're doing about that 85, 90, and 6 more strength on all of that is pretty significant. It is very, very solid. Also, if you wanted to, you could run Santa Hogan instead of Punk. Because of King, this move would actually be turn 1. So if you're in a tag match, you could just hit that if you ran Santa Hogan, and then if you don't kill, your tag partner would. So here we go. Again, mind you, free card, and you're about to see what he's about to do right now. That is 16 times 23s on the board. And we're about to see some destruction here. Missed a lot. But we kind of came back there with the green and, yeah, zeroed. So, I have also kind of tested this out. Same height people. You're probably looking more at like 120. Maybe even more than that in most cases with the 2-click. Which means, yeah, I definitely think you could be comfortable enough running him with the 1-click as well. Depends on what you do. Here, I'll run this one more time. So again, very, very strong. I actually really like him in Showdown with this. If you want to run Sanahogan, right, you have options. Or if you, again, let's say you may not kill right away, you can run his sub, drain the opponent, and then hit him. That also would work. Like, there's options. There's a ton of options there for you to run. Boom. But Joe, in later videos, I actually want to show, I think, is more utility as a character to help another one. Another Wyatt. So there we go. Board goes up and blows up. So there we go. Alright, there we go. So that's very strong damage, considering he's a free card, he's a B tier. But I definitely will say, right, there are other showboat options that you might have a higher hype, but don't sleep on him. I think he's a pretty easy build up. He's pretty easy to get for hype. He's pretty easy really to set up, and there's other things I don't have that would make him even harder. I actually think the tag division is kind of where Joe shines in terms of all the Wyatt Sicks, because I do think everyone else is realistically better in a one-on-one setting. But still, I do really like Joe. I kind of wish all of them had a reversal, but nonetheless, it's still really, really strong. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you guys in the next one.